aperture, ISO, and shutter speed. What do these mean? Alright, so the shutter, this thing, is in control of the light that comes inside sensitive to camera. So in layman's terms, basically what the shutter means is that the lower the number on your shutter is the more light's going to come through your camera sensor, and the higher the number is the more darker your image is going to be. But what also happens when you lower your shutter speed is that you get this motion blur, and the lower the shutter speed is, the more often this motion blur will appear in your pictures. You know, like your friend moving her hand really fast, and the image, her body is still, but her hand is moving really fast. It's like the picture I took before. And if your image is too dark and you raise the shutter speed, and the effect that you have by raising the shutter speed is like freezing the time itself more. So it'll be more or less likely, depending on how high your shutter speed is, the more or less likely that subject will move, or anything will move. So let's talk about aperture. What is aperture? So basically, aperture is you know, you can bring up the light in your camera through your lens, and lower the light through your camera through your lens. All right, and that's basically it. But for some lenses, like it's working on 85mm 1.4, it's fast, you know, aperture of 1.4, but some lenses have they're called like prime lenses, all right, and they have aperture ring of changing. I don't know if you can see that. Is you can change it by the aperture ring instead of actually going into the camera itself to change that. So on this prime lens, it has an aperture ring. Also, another thing you should know about aperture is that depending on your aperture, say you shoot on, I don't know, 3.5 on a shutter at 50, you'll get this, depth of field, seeing that I'm in focus and I'm not in focus, and I'm in focus and then I'm not in focus. Basically, what this is making the image itself in front of you sharper. All right, so you gotta understand that the distance, the aperture, and the focal length. The focal length is what I'm doing right now. I'm changing the focal length of making the image breathe and not breathe. So like there's a little bit of breathing here of like me changing, but I can do it very quickly. So I can go straight to the image immediately because I'm doing it manually. You know, also on aperture, having the aperture at 2.8 and 3.5 and 4.5, you start to realize how different the background is and how your in front of you is. So the more lower the aperture gets, the more blurred out things become, and the more higher it is, the more less likely it's not blurred out. Does that make any sense? Next on the list is ISO. What is ISO? Alright, so ISO is basically like brightening, another brightening, using the camera to brighten up an image because it's too freaking dark, or you're brightening something up because, or you're lowering something down because the image is not as clear as you want it to be, because if the ISO is too high, then it's too noisy, and if the ISO is too low, then it might be too dark, but it might have a very clean image that's coming out of it, because the camera doesn't need to use that much light for it. All right, so I'm gonna show you some images of what that means. Here's what I'm talking about. So start at 1.8 at 1/660th of a shutter speed and 1/600 ISO on a 50mm. And if you look closely, a lot of noise. Doesn't look like a good picture at all. It's noticeable. Yeah, shooting a shot like this. I regret myself doing this deeply. And I'm gonna show you how bright I can make this camera right now. So I'm gonna change it. Right now it's at 800. Let's go up by 1600, 3200, 6400, and I guess it went on auto. It stopped at auto, but you get the point. You get the point. That is ISO. So you made it this far. Follow me on Instagram. I know it's there. Follow me on Twitter, and talk to me, I guess. I'm always on Twitter. And yeah, if you're on YouTube watching this, then subscribe. You know what you need to do. I'll see you guys next time, and bye-bye.